Now, in my last video, I shared with you that some young people are not opening up their gifts because they're waiting for someone to affirm them, okay? And then there's some who may have not opened up their gifts because they don't even know they have it, right? So we want to affirm those young people because we all need help in seeing the value of who we are and what we have, okay? And then we can see that in ourselves, we can see it in other people. Now, here's the thing. Some young people need a little more help in learning how to hold the value of who they are more than they expect other people to value who they are, okay? What does that mean? Well, an example from my own life, I remember being a younger person in my 20s, not even a teenager, because I was very shy as a teenager, and I was an artist, and I did, writing and, painting and all this stuff, but I was still very shy. And I auditioned for certain plays and talent shows, but I was still very shy. I was trying to bring her forward, but she hadn't come out yet. And then in my 20s, I began to, participate in different ways. And I was still needing validation because I did not have the value for the gift that I had. I didn't know how to value what I had or who I was outside of people being able to value who I was and what I had. And then I learned that people will value what I had to offer more than they valued me. So you can imagine I had to go to therapy around that, okay? And I'm not the only one. I've spoken for millions of humans just now, okay? We all have this experience. But how do we help young people value what they have more than they expect other people to value what they have? Well, the simple way to do this is to bring them to a place, in that relaxed body, okay? So you could just sit next to them. And how you set this up is you say, what, I notice that, you have a tremendous gift. You're a tremendous person. You have a beautiful mind. You have a beautiful heart. You have a beautiful spirit. And I recognize, that in some situations you're not too sure of yourself. And I want you to be so sure of yourself that even when other people aren't sure of you, you are. Okay? And then they may say, well, wow, how do I do that? Okay, well, we'll do it together. Let's do an exercise together. Okay? Now, this exercise is where you're just going to recline in your chair, okay? And you're going to just relax. Or you can even lay on your back if that's comfortable, laying on the floor, okay? Or laying on the bed, be safe and, take it easy. And just breathe. Bring the gift that you have, in you doing it, whether it could be, playing a sport, or it could be singing or dancing or painting or helping. There's so many different types of gifts. It could be the gift of calculating and doing math and equations, and, it could be the gift of, just paying attention and making people feel special, and in some type of way. There's so many gifts. And so you say, well, let's bring to mind you expressing that gift, okay? And as you bring that to mind, make the image of yourself holding that gift, expressing that gift. Make that really, really bright. This is so beautiful, okay? You're doing this with your eyes closed. Relax shoulders, relax the body, okay? Bring yourself to mind doing the gift, holding the gift, expressing the gift, and make it really bright. Make it really, really bright. And then ask, well, what do you feel? What colors do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste? What's in your environment? What do you hear? So you want to bring in those 5 senses around it, right? And then you say, well, now I want you to bring some people who see you operating in that gift. Bring them into this space. This is really powerful, okay? Bring them into the space. Now I want you to see their faces, okay? And then I want you to make their faces, like, put a shade, a veil over their faces, like a veil, or, just a layer of, a layer of darkness. And not like to where it's bad or something. And darkness is not bad. Watch my other videos on darkness not being bad, but holding the possibilities of light, okay? But you make that gray. Make it dim. There we go. Make the image dim. Make the image of them dim. Let them fade away. And let you expressing the gift become brighter and brighter and brighter. And what that does is it helps the child to focus in on the flow state. Okay, in the flow state, this term coined by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, I think I said the name correctly. Okay, but in this flow state, being able to recognize the beauty of being one, okay, and being in this very expansive space. And those of us who are believers in Christ will say, well, being one with God and expressing the gift that He's placed within you. And then everything else fades away. Everything else fades away. And it's not that those people don't matter, because when you come back into the environment after being in that flow space, it's not that what they say doesn't matter. You appreciate it and you say, wow, that was awesome. That was wonderful. You know, I was here, but I wasn't here, right? And for any of us who operate in that flow state, it feels like I was here, but I was somewhere else. You know, I was fully present, but I was somewhere else. And our young people know how that feels when they're in that space. And then you thank people for their affirmation. Thank you for, valuing, this offering. Thank you for appreciating this offering. And then the value rests with you. And that's how you make the shift to valuing who you are and what you have more than you expect others to value it first. See, it's that simple. It does take practice. It's taken me, in my journey, it's taken me the last 8 years in particular. So 8 years ago, I published my book, Liberated Through the Love of Christ. And it brought me, it commenced me on a journey where I had to learn how to value what I was offering, and more than other people value it, or more than I was expecting them to value it. Okay, and we can't really measure value, sometimes, because who's to say that the person that's experiencing that gift, it doesn't value it 1,000%, whatever that means, right? But you still want to value it, that even if they don't tell you, you can go forward with giving, because it's not about them. It's about you being in alignment with the Creator and doing what the Creator gave you to do, gave you to be. Okay, so that's how we help our young people. That's how we help ourselves shift. So let me just recap. Bring yourself operating in the gift to mind. Make that really bright. Sense it with all the senses. Bring the people into the space, and then just make that image of them dim. And it's not that we're saying they're not valuable. They are, because God has made people to be a conduit to one another. So we are vessels to one another. We receive God's grace and mercy and love and truth through each other. Some people will devalue people and make it all spiritual. And then it's like, but God uses people, right? So we want to be able to make them dim, and make them dim so that we can be so present with what we have, to where whether they say something or not, it does not take away our perception of the value of what we have, of who we are. Okay? I bless you. I want the best for you, and I'll see you again soon.